This final battle ends with a bloody handprint on the wall, his holy staff completely shattered, and our boy Yan Yanggong, the priest of light, is on his knees. He cannot understand how it all went so wrong. Screaming at the heavens, he demands to know why an angel would side with demons. And there is his answer, the goddess of light herself standing with the demon king. Her excuse is just cold, hard pragmatism. Humanity was a losing bet. Yan Yanggong furiously points out her betrayal is the only asterisk reason they lost. But the demon king just laughs, mocking the last healer standing. Then with a flick of his finger, the priest is sent flying. This demon lord savors this moment, pure evil in his eyes, a massive hand descending to just erase him from existence. He's getting crushed, his body giving out under the pressure. His final moments are just pure agonizing pain. This fist closes completely, a brutal final crunch. And just like that, the hero is gone, leaving nothing behind but a splatter on the cold stone. But wait, a system window pops up. He has obtained the Demon Lord system. Our boy is understandably confused since he was asterisk just turned into paste. Now the system is transferring him to something called the Demon Altar. He is now a level 1 Demon Lord with stats that would not scare a house cat, his eyes snapping open, now glowing a demonic red. And the transfer drops him onto a strange, desolate altar, where a massive cross-shaped coffin looms over him. Turns out there are 10 of them arranged in a big spooky circle. Our boy is quite reasonably asking what is with all the coffins, and the system explains he is the new boss with 10 legendary demons to unlock. Yan Yanggong is having a moment since his entire life was spent asterisk fighting demons, and he cannot believe this is his reward, a promotion to the enemy team. Suddenly, one of the coffins starts rumbling with a dark energy. But then it clicks, this power is his one-way ticket to revenge. So with a new fire in his eyes, he accepts the job offer. This system gives him instructions for his trip back to the living. He steps onto the mark and the whole place lights up. Blue lightning arcing from the altar straight to a single coffin, slamming into it like a key turning in an ancient lock. Power just explodes from both ends of the connection, engulfing Yan Yanggong in a brilliant pillar of light. And he makes a vow to settle the score with that traitor goddess. This priest of light is gone, replaced by a demon lord with a grudge. Back in the world of the living, Yan Yanggong finds his own grave, where an old comrade Su Dingfeng is busy calling him a coward, until a voice from behind complains about the shoddy tombstone. This guy whips around, completely stunned by that familiar sound. And it is Yan Yanggong, back from the dead and already critiquing his memorial. Su Dingfeng is so shocked he drops his lollipop, barely getting his name out. And yep, it is him, confirming he is in fact not a ghost. His friend breaks down crying, revealing he has been visiting this grave for 5 years, which is a huge shock to Yan Yanggong, who had no idea he time skipped. But his buddy's priorities are a mess. He is furious Yan Yanggong is still level 2. As they catch up, they pass a massive statue of an angel. And Su Dingfeng explains the official story. Angels won the war, so now they are worshipped. Yan Yanggong, who knows the real traitorous version, is absolutely disgusted. His friend admits he would have believed the lies too, but now it is time to celebrate, even offering to treat him to a meal at a new spot. But Yan Yanggong is all business. He is heading straight for a dungeon to level up. Su Dingfeng agrees but warns him that a lot has changed in 5 years. Which leads to some immediate and intense culture shock for our boy, because dungeons are now commercialized, complete with an admission desk. This price is pure robbery, a huge fee plus an 80% cut of all loot. This receptionist hits back, saying these prices are the new normal. So Su Dingfeng immediately tries to kick his face in, but Yan Yanggong stops him. Then we get a quick lore drop, humans sealed monsters into dungeons long ago. But those seals are starting to fail, letting the beasties out to play, which is why adventurers started clearing them out in the first place. And in a tragic flashback, we see Su Dingfeng was the only survivor of his old team. Yan Yanggong is still stuck on the 80% loot tax, calling it straight-up extortion. And his buddy explains that since the war is over, dungeons are just cash grabs now. But he is happy to spot Yan Yanggong the entry fee, since he always helped them out back in the day. Su Dingfeng finally asks what the big plan is anyway, and Yan Yanggong just casually says he is gonna level up and enslave the dungeon boss. Suddenly, his demonic eyes flare up, he senses danger approaching, and the two of them look up as a massive shadow falls over them, revealing a giant level 1 scorpion, basically a starter zone mob. Su Dingfeng tells him to stand back and watch a pro work, powering up his magic, and this pro immediately has a massive claw swinging right for his head. This scorpion closing the distance in a flash, forcing him to throw up a tiny shield that barely blocks the hit. He gets absolutely launched by the impact, completely overpowered, landing flat on his back as the monster looms over him, ready to finish the job. Yan Yanggong notes his friend can handle these weaklings just fine, but the exp gain is absolutely pathetic, so Su Dingfeng tells him to round up a whole crowd for some area of effect carnage. This loot and experience points immediately start raining down, leaving a battlefield littered with scorpion parts. In no time at all, Yan Yanggong hits level 2, impressing his buddy with the speed, which unlocks a new skill for him, a fear-based stun called Soul Tremor, and now he is ready to show off his real party trick. Su Dingfeng absolutely loses his mind, thinking he is about to see a demon conversion. But Yan Yanggong's got something else in mind, calling on the dead scorpions to become his allies, his demonic power surging into the corpses on the ground, which begin to reassemble themselves in a burst of hellfire, forming into a brand new, much scarier shape. And Su Dingfeng can only stare, completely speechless, because now there are 2 humanoid scorpion warriors standing before them. His friend is just blown away by how cool this new necromancy is. Then Yan Yonggong gives his new minions their first order, clear the dungeon. And the scorpion demons take off like a shot, ready to wreck everything in their path. They absolutely shred the remaining mobs, while Su Dingfeng has a brilliant idea, AFK grinding, a plan so smart he has gotta give himself a thumbs up for it. Su Dingfeng explains that with the new fees, dungeon runs are basically a money-losing hobby now. When suddenly a dark energy blast zips past them, the boss is already here. And Su Dingfeng is horrified as one of the scorpion minions gets instantly vaporized, its severed head apologizing for waking the boss and being too weak to fight it. Yan Yonggong just looks on, completely unfazed. He never expected his starter pets to win anyway, leaving him to face the dungeon boss alone, surrounded by his minions' spare parts. Meet the Mole King Rark, a giant, armored bug thing that looks seriously ticked off. So Su Dingfeng steps up, ready to tank like old times and telling Yan Yonggong to stay back. But Yan Yonggong flips the script. He has got low damage, so he will be the bait. His master plan involves flipping the monster off, a truly classic taunt, which of course sends the Mole King into a blind rage. And Yan Yonggong quickly lays out the plan. He will stun it. Su Dingfeng stabs it. This kid takes off running, leading the giant, angry mole on a merry chase. With the beast closing in fast, ready to turn him into a pancake, but he pulls off a slick slide right between its legs at the last second. His eyes flare with demonic power as he unleashes Soul Tremor, and the Mole King freezes solid, completely paralyzed by the fear effect. Yan Yonggong screams for his buddy to attack now, sending Su Dingfeng charging in at full speed for the kill, and he lands a perfect, brutal strike right into the monster's weak spot. But the stun fails instantly, and the Mole King is not asterisk happy, immediately diving underground with a massive crash, leaving a giant pit between our two heroes. Su Dingfeng helpfully points out his friend's attack was useless, and Yan Yonggong explains he was just aiming for the weak spot. Our boy already has a new plan though, he is the bait. Since the monster fears him, it'll attack from behind for an easy kill. His friend is totally impressed by this big brain strategy. But Yan Yonggong just says he learned it from the pros. Suddenly his demonic eyes flare up, it is here, and the ground behind him erupts as the Mole King bursts out, with Su Dingfeng perfectly positioned for the kill shot, except the monster completely ignores Yan Yonggong, instead lunging straight for his buddy with its mouth wide open. This thing is going right for Su Dingfeng's face, who is about to become a very surprised chew toy. But at the last second, Yan Yonggong's eyes glow, freezing the beast in place. He yells that he cannot hold it for long, sending Su Dingfeng charging in with a battle cry, and he lands a perfect gushing strike right into its gut. This Mole King goes down, dropping some surprisingly decent loot for a starter boss, including a shield that stores blocked damage for a massive counterattack, and a dagger with a chance to grant an instant extra slash on a hit. Su Dingfeng is floored. This gear is way too good for a level 1 dungeon, but Yan Yonggong explains he just gambled on a high-level boss having a baby version here. After offering his buddy first pick, Su Dingfeng grabs the shield for his tank build, admitting he was always a melee fighter at heart but played healer for his old team's sake. Our boy thinks the loot will easily cover his debt, but his friend has some bad news about the economy, which leads them right back to the front desk, with Yan Yonggong slamming his fist down, accusing the guild of running a monopoly that forces adventurers to sell their loot for nothing. This receptionist just scoffs, threatening to start charging them for experience points next, a true innovator in extortion. Just as things get heated, some guild goons show up and Su Dingfeng tries to de-escalate. But Yan Yonggong's demon eyes are flaring. He senses something off about this desk jockey. And the guy proves him right, flipping him off while revealing a dark demonic aura of his own. Suddenly, a bald-headed enforcer and his crew step in to handle the situation, telling our boys to get lost before they get seriously hurt. But Yan Yonggong has a new plan, demanding the shield as compensation for his emotional damage. And despite his friend's protests, he insists on handing it over. With a demonic glint in his eye, he promises he will be taking it back very, very soon. Later that night, they arrive at a lone building, clearly ready for a little payback. Inside, the guild's enforcers are just relaxing in their totally not evil hideout, while the boss watches a news report about missing adventurers. What a shocker. His subordinate asks about a shady weekly visitor but gets told to mind his own business. And from a back room, some seriously dark energy starts seeping out, where it looks like someone is literally on the menu for dinner tonight. As a dude just happily chows down with a sickening crunch, a sudden noise outside interrupts the meal, so the boss sends a guy to check, who complains it is probably just a stray cat, truly a master of threat assessment. Then the shield they stole comes crashing down, completely wrecking a car's hood, and Yan Yonggong appears right behind him, ready to collect his property. Our boys step out of the shadows, officially kicking off this repo mission, sending the terrified goon stumbling back inside to warn his crew. This rest of the gang looks up, completely blindsided by the intrusion, just as Yan Yonggong's eyes flare with demonic power, hitting the bald enforcer with a soul tremor that freezes him in pure terror. That is Su Dingfeng's cue to launch himself into the room like a human cannonball, coming down hard on one of the stunned goons with brutal force. He absolutely wrecks the place, sending bodies and furniture flying everywhere, even yeeting one guy straight through the window for a dramatic exit. But the bald boss snaps out of it, screaming as he powers up some fire magic. Plot twist, he is a mage. This bald mage throws out some fire whips, but our boy just weaves right through them. And with the room a total mess, the boss screams for someone to kill the kid already. But Yan Yonggong's eyes flare up again, time for another round of soul tremor, hitting the boss full force with that terrifying red aura, which is so effective the guy literally puts his own gun to his head. Talk about self-sabotage. And just like that, the whole crew is down for the count. His work is not done though. He senses a much nastier energy coming from a back room, so the door slowly creaks open because of course it does. And our boy steps inside ready for whatever fresh hell is waiting. First thing he sees is a half-eaten body on a table, so that is where the missing adventurers went. Followed by a nice friendly pile of skulls in the corner to complete the decor. Yan Yanggong finally confronts the cannibal, calling him out for being a parasite, but this guy just scoffs, threatening to add a level 2 adventure to the menu. Our boy's response is just a little smirk, completely unbothered, as he calmly reminds the dude about his promise to take back what is his. That sends the cannibal into a rage, powering up his own fire magic to roast him alive. His hands igniting with some serious-looking fireballs. This guy's a mage too, and a whole volley of fire gets launched straight at Yan Yanggong, who just casually dances through the attack with his dagger out, leaving the cannibal mage sweating, realizing he bit off way more than he can chew. Yan Yanggong moves like a flash, his new dagger leaving a web of red slashes in the air, and the cannibal is just baffled. The kid's file said level 1 healer, not human blender. A red streak zips right past his face, a little too close for comfort. Then the dagger's special ability kicks in, granting an instant extra slash for good measure. This mage just looks down, completely stunned by the sudden attack, now bleeding from a dozen cuts before he could even react. Our boy then offers him a new job opportunity, his personal servant. What an honor. This, predictably, does not go over well with the cannibal mage. He tries to power up one last time, grabbing his own hand to channel some desperate fire magic. But Yan Yanggong just gives him a look that says, "Are you done yet?" A massive explosion of dark energy just vaporizes the guy on the spot. From the smoke, a shadowy figure with glowing eyes emerges against the moon, sporting a very fancy, spiky, golden belt buckle. Turns out the cannibal was just a meat suit for a level 2 elite demon named Pundi. This demon is unimpressed, wondering how his host got taken out by a mere level 2 adventurer, casually mentioning he accidentally burned his ride and needs a new one. Such an inconvenience. While the demon is busy monologuing, Yan Yanggong starts casting an enslaved demon spell, and Pundi suddenly turns, sensing something is off, just as our boy unleashes a swirling vortex of red energy right at him. This demon just scoffs that a slow spell will never hit him as it smacks him right in the face. This spell hits, but Pundi just laughs, taunting him for being too slow. As Yan Yanggong sees the counterattack coming, a massive wave of fire, forcing him to leap for his life as the entire room just explodes below, and our boy knows he is in a seriously tight spot now. This blast is a swirling inferno of pure demonic energy, which promptly burns through the floor, frying the goons downstairs. Oops. And Yan Yanggong realizes he needs to change the venue fast. He just smashes straight through the roof to get some fresh air, with Pundi right on his tail, mocking his escape attempt, boasting that his special hellfire will burn anything to ash. This demon zips through the forest like a heat-seeking missile, landing when he loses his target, calling him a cunning little rat. At that moment, something slices through the air right beside him, and Yan Yanggong drops out of the trees with a devastating downward slash, tearing a massive gash right across the demon's chest. Pundi stares at his own wound in total disbelief, then gets furious, charging up a point-blank fire blast in retaliation. But our boy is already airborne, dodging the attack with ease. This demon completely loses his cool, vowing to skin him alive for that stunt, and with a final roar, he lunges forward, screaming, "You are mine now." Pundi unleashes a whole barrage of demonic fireballs, forcing Yan Yanggong to sprint for his life as the forest explodes, and this wave of pure destruction just keeps on coming. So our boy takes a leap of faith right off a cliff. He lands in a rocky ravine, dagger ready for a counter, but Pundi's right there, mocking him for trapping himself in a dead end. This demon gloats that there is nowhere left to run, then unleashes his ultimate move, the Inferno Cannon. A massive beam of hellfire just rips through the canyon, leaving a smoking crater where Yan Yanggong used to be. Pundi starts complaining about his last host's diabetes, no more fat hosts for him apparently. But his victory speech is cut short by a sudden noise, as a massive armored golem comes crashing down from the sky, slamming right into the demon with a huge impact. This thing has Pundi pinned, who looks completely stunned by the ambush, wondering how the human survived his ultimate attack. He looks over at the empty crater, realizing it was a decoy, and it clicks, he was baited into a trap by the kid's servant. But Pundi's not done, powering up and screaming this is not enough to stop him. Just as Yan Yanggong appears, casually leaning on his new pet golem, Yan Yanggong's spell wraps a glowing chain right around Pundi's neck. As he casts Enslaved Demon, a massive shadow entity looming behind him, Pundi's eyes go all swirly, the mind control kicking in hard. And just like that, Yan Yanggong tells his golem to release the new pet. This first order of business is, of course, shaking the demon down for all his valuables. Out comes the stolen shield and a bunch of other fancy-looking weapons, followed by a very nice pile of gold bars. Payday. Pundi explains the guild's entire treasury is right here, converted into loot. Our boy is stunned to learn this is over 10 million just from bullying newbies. But then a chain snaps, uh-oh, that is not a good sound, and a system warning confirms it, the demon is breaking free. Pundi powers up one last time, a smug look on his face, screaming die, as he unleashes a final desperate attack, blasting Yan Yanggong with a point-blank energy wave. This attack backfires spectacularly, launching Pundi into the sky and getting him eliminated. That nets our boy a level up and a new passive, Lord Privilege, for leeching X from his servants. He now stands over the aftermath with a tiny, chibi version of Pundi. With glowing eyes, Yan Yanggong demands his new servant swear absolute loyalty, his power crackling as he fills another slot in his demon space. And just like that, Pundi is a loyal LV3 servant, ready for orders, no training required. Yan Yanggong knows the low-level dungeons are a racket, so it is time to find some unregulated action. And his first order for Pundi is a simple one: take him to the other monster hideouts. Meanwhile, at some random apartment building, a blonde-haired guy answers the door to a delivery he never ordered, and he drags the massive box inside, convinced someone's pranking him with bricks. But inside is his stolen shield and a whole lot of gold bars. Best prank ever. A note from Yan Yanggong explains the gift and even offers him a job for future dungeon runs, leaving the guy absolutely stunned that someone actually got his stuff back from that rogue guild. He is also having a moment with his first ever gold bar, which is nice. While he is inside screaming about being rich, the delivery guy just waits patiently outside the door, who turns out to be Pundi in a clever disguise, reporting the mission is complete. What a team player. Yan Yanggong seems pleased with the errand, but he is already on to the next thing, now riding his golem as he asks Pundi if they have arrived at the next location. Pundi has led him to a massive, ornate temple of the light god, a pretty bold choice for a demon's tour. This little demon explains that every temple they destroy weakens the light angel's power, which is all the convincing our boy needs to give the go-ahead for a little divine desecration. He tells his golem, now named Rark, to go into stealth mode until he gives the signal. Back at the Rogue Guild's former headquarters, all that is left is a smoking crater and some confused survivors. This guild's treasury head, Zhu Tong, arrives demanding to know where his brother is, the former cannibal boss. But his men can only report that a strange fire magic burned everything and everyone to ash. Zhu Tong is fuming not about his dead brother but about the 10 million gold priorities people. Meanwhile, inside the temple, a level 3 corrupted light knight stands guard, and Yan Yanggong is already surrounded, casually farming X from the first casualty. Our boy offers them one last chance to surrender, out of professional courtesy, but their response is a giant sword to the face, so negotiations are clearly over. Yan Yanggong just sidesteps and takes the knight's head clean off, as another one rushes in, sword raised for the kill, only to get blasted with a soul tremor for his trouble. That sends the poor guy flying, completely stunned by the mental attack, so the whole platoon decides to just charge and push him off the bridge. Yan Yanggong prepares to hit them all with another soul tremor, which gets immediately blocked by a glowing shield interrupting the spell. Plan B is just to leap right over the entire charging line of armored goons, coming down with a devastating slash right through their formation. His blade carves a clean path through the air, and our boy becomes a pinball of death, bouncing between targets. These knights are stunned, but they cannot retreat or their overseer will get them. And speak of the devil, the level 3 elite overseer finally shows up. He turns his head, finally noticing the one-man army wrecking his troops, then swings a massive battle axe, ready to end this personally. This overseer's axe glows with holy power, ready for a big swing, and his attack carves a massive trench right down the middle of the bridge, wiping out his own knights in a spectacular display of friendly fire. He then has the nerve to call Yan Yanggong a demon for it. The hypocrisy is staggering. Meanwhile, Pundi sneezes, feeling the shade from miles away, but our boy is totally fine, shielded by his golem Rark, who took the hit like a champ. Yan Yanggong offers the overseer a very clear one-finger salute for his efforts. This big guy gets even madder, vowing to make them regret stepping foot in his temple. He winds up for another massive swing, clearly not a fan of subtlety, bringing the axe down with everything he has got. And we cut to a completely different scene where a dude's head just got lopped off. His buddy watches it roll by, having a perfectly reasonable panic attack. This poor guy is now begging for his life, cornered against a wall. A purple-haired assassin is interrogating him about a former guild member. He pulls out a photo of some guy with light hair and a toothpick. This informant immediately recognizes him as Su Dingfeng. This assassin Netta Hu gets a real nasty look, demanding to know where he lives. With his dead friend in his lap, the guy explains how Netta killed their tank instantly. He spills the entire address in a single breath, just wanting to live. Netta asks if he looks cruel, then tells the guy to get lost, which probably means die. Netta Hu reveals he was just kidding about letting the guy go. What a surprise. Then unleashes a spell called Magic Blade, Hidden Heart, just to be extra. And a single stomp sends a wave of energy across the ground, slamming the poor informant right into the brick wall. This guy is literally split down the middle, a very permanent way to tie up loose ends, and with the job done, Netta just checks his phone and says next, like he is ordering pizza. Meanwhile, we cut to a totally normal-looking apartment building, where Su Dingfeng hears a knock at his door. He peeks out, probably expecting another gift from Yan Yanggong. But it is Netta Hu asking if he is the man he is looking for. And we are back at the temple, where some big-shot knight is chilling on a golden throne, who spots a lone intruder walking up the long red carpet, and it is our boy Yan Yanggong, now level 4 and ready for business. This knight is pissed, calling him a bug and wondering why the overseer is slacking off. So Yan Yanggong gets an idea, holding up a little cockroach, which he promptly squishes flat in his palm. Then asks if that is the overseer they are looking for. What a troll. He casually tosses the overseer's actual head, which rolls right down the stairs, and the head comes to a stop, confirming the guy is definitely not waking up again. This new knight is stunned, realizing Yan Yanggong just soloed an elite without a scratch. This knight starts monologuing about how our boy has no idea who he is up against, introducing himself as the level 22 corrupted commander Argus, a real mouthful. So Yan Yanggong just hits him with a soul tremor to shut him up. But the attack gets completely resisted. This guy's got some serious mental defense, and Argus immediately leaps high into the air for a downward strike, coming down with a massive glowing sword slash that is all flash, which Yan Yanggong just barely manages to dodge, using the opening to land a clean counter slash of his own. sending the armored commander flying backward through the air. But our boy realizes this boss is way faster and stronger than the last one, as the knight's momentum sends him tumbling across the rooftop too. So Yan Yanggong starts gathering some nasty-looking dark energy in his hand, then kicks off the ground to launch a ball of pure purple destruction. But Argus is ready, throwing up a light shield to block the attack, and the dark magic slams right into the holy barrier, erupting in a massive, screen-shaking explosion, which clears to reveal the knight still standing somehow, and he is just baffled how his strongest shield got shattered by a low-level fire skill. But before he can finish his thought, a blade is already at his neck, because Yan Yanggong is right there behind him, ready to finish the job. Argus whines about an unethical sneak attack with a knife to his throat, mind you. Yan Yanggong hits back, asking where his morals are for serving a traitor goddess. And with that, the knight's head goes flying, problem solved. But his hand still grips the sword, which is not a great sign. This headless body just gets up and swings anyway. Talk about dedication to the job. Our boy is stunned, wondering how he is still fighting after a clear kill shot. Turns out, the knight is just glowing with some kind of holy revival magic. And Yan Yanggong realizes this healing is way beyond anything he has ever seen. This headless wonder then winds up for a devastating punch, sending our boy flying clean across the rooftop. Glowing with power, Argus prepares to turn him to ash, unleashing a massive radiant flash attack, which catches Yan Yanggong completely off guard. A huge beam of holy light erupts into the sky, and after the dust settles, the knight just stands there looking up. Suddenly, we are in a flashback where Argus is complaining about his useless guards, and he has a sudden flash of recognition. He remembers a rookie Yan Yanggong from years ago, shocked he is even alive. This memory shows his teammate getting beaten senseless by the Zhu Scorpion Guild, who then went to the Adventurer Tribunal seeking justice from Argus himself. Back then, his teammate was framed for stealing and stripped of his adventurer license, while the real culprit, Zhu Tong, walked away without a single consequence. Justice is blind, I guess, and the corrupt official who made that ruling was Argus himself, who looks absolutely horrified to be called out on his past. He tries to justify it with some garbage about the goddess's favor, acting all high and mighty. So back in the present, the headless knight powers up, promising this next attack is undodgeable. His sword glows with an insane amount of holy power, summoning a massive blade of light from the heavens called Light Judgment. Yan Yanggong leaps back, narrowly avoiding the initial ground-shattering impact. As the giant sword plummets straight for the rooftop, he feels the magical lock-on and knows it is time to pull out the big guns. Gathering a swirling vortex of pink energy around himself, he unleashes a burning time shield, a skill that literally eats the enemy's attack timeline. And Argus finally gets how he survived before, but scoffs that luck will not save him twice. This holy sword descends with blinding speed and power, coming straight down on Yan Yanggong's position. But the attack is stopped cold by the pink energy barrier. Argus cannot believe a rookie has a shield this strong, but still dismisses him. Yan Yanggong just holds up his hand, calmly maintaining the defense, as the massive blade presses down, causing cracks to spiderweb across his shield. This shield cracks under the immense pressure, bits flying everywhere, and it finally shatters, with Yan Yanggong wondering if he used too much mana. This blast sends the headless knight tumbling backward through the air, carving a massive crater right into the rooftop, leaving Argus completely stunned that our boy survived. Another ultimate attack. Yan Yanggong explains his time-burning skill also works on enemy attacks as long as the level gap is not insane. With his mana low, he declares it is his turn to strike back, unleashing soul-exploding inferno and dumping all his remaining power into one shot. A giant vortex of dark energy spirals down toward the knight, and Argus just braces himself, ready to take the hit head-on. This massive beam slams right into his sword with incredible force, and even this headless wonder is struggling to hold on for dear life. Yan Yanggong's attack just keeps pouring on the pressure, finally overwhelming the knight and shattering the entire platform beneath him. This whole rooftop is just blown to smithereens from the sheer power. In the middle of the crater, Argus is still standing somehow, and he is actually impressed, admitting Yan Yanggong is tougher than he looks, but then calls the damage a little scratch. The ego on this guy. Holy light starts swirling around him as he boasts about his instant healing powers, but suddenly he is confused, his eye completely bloodshot. That dark energy starts eating away at his holy armor, and his instant healing ability just completely shuts down. Because this soul-burning magic is tearing him apart from the inside, he finally gets it. This attack came with a nasty little side effect, and the pain forces the headless wonder down onto one knee. Yan Yanggong calmly points out this is the second time he has knelt today, even taunting him about having soft knees for a high-end mighty knight. Argus immediately starts begging for his life, promising to do anything, talk about a change in tune. But our boy is not finished, saying he forgot to complete his story, leaving the knight totally confused about what is happening. This flashback continues, showing his teammate blacklisted and unable to find work, while everyone around him just gossiped, blaming him for crossing the powerful Zhu family. This injustice drove his friend into absolute despair. So Yan Yanggong and his buddies pooled their money to go help him out, but they arrived at his apartment way too late. Back in the present, he asks Argus if he really thinks he'd ever let him off the hook, and the knight makes one last desperate offer to become his loyal servant. Yan Yanggong says alright, and Argus thinks he is actually safe, planning a counterattack. So our boy just swings his sword and takes the head off again. He then clarifies the deal, sure you can follow me, but you have to be dead first. With the knight finally dead, our boy gets a level up and some sweet new skills. But he is more concerned about why his servant did not send him any exp for the fight. He is mentally yelling at his guy, Pondi, asking if he's been slacking off on the job, and Pondi nervously reports back that he is handling a sticky situation, which turns out to be a three-way standoff in a creepy parking garage. This guy he is protecting is some pink-haired dude who is already bleeding out on the floor, and they are up against a professional killer named Netahu who looks annoyed. Pondi gives a whole speech about how the guy behind him belongs to his liege, while the injured man wonders if Yan Yanggong sent this new lackey to save him. He tries to warn Pondi that this killer is the real deal, flashing back to an hour earlier when he got jumped in his own apartment. This Netahu character just casually tossed him straight through a window, sending him flying out of the building in a shower of glass. Even as a tank, he was apparently knocked out cold with a single hit, only to wake up in this abandoned lot with the killer waiting for him. Back in the present, Pondi decides it is time to make his move, lunging forward with a punch aimed right at the assassin's face. But he is stunned to realize this guy is even faster than his master, as Netahu effortlessly dodges and appears above him in midair, reaching down with a glowing hand to finish the fight for good. Netahu fires off a swirling blast of wind magic, trying to end this quick, unleashing his Tower Gale attack right at Pondi, but the servant just casually sidesteps the invisible rings of force, narrowly avoiding a slice that was aimed right for his neck. He lands smoothly, not even breaking a sweat from the surprise assault. This assassin is completely stunned, wondering how anyone could see his invisible blade, and Pondi admits he cannot, but he can feel the magic and knows to be cautious. After all, he has learned from the best, having fallen for his master's tunnel traps before. Netahu just scoffs that it was dumb luck and charges in with a punch, so Pondi counters with a kick that shatters the concrete floor between them. This raw power sends the assassin stumbling backward, while Pondi closes the distance in a flash to press his attack. Their next exchange sends Pondi flying straight up into the air, leaving him tumbling helplessly toward the ceiling beams. Netahu is already below him, poised to strike the second he falls. Pondi realizes he is too slow to cast a spell and remembers his master's orders: no demon form outside dungeons, which is just fantastic timing. This killer's hand glows as he gathers a swirling vortex of wind, forming a massive razor-sharp blade aimed straight up. All Pondi can do is watch in horror as the attack screams toward him, and it connects, filling the air with a spray of blood and shattered glass. Pondi hits the concrete hard, bleeding out from that last attack. He is absolutely kicking himself for failing to protect his master's friend, while Netahu gloats that his invisible blade has more than one trick. But a system alert pops up. Yan Yanggong just shared a twin summon skill. This assassin just grins, moving in to deliver the final blow. So with his last breath, Pondi activates the reverse summon for his demon lord. He apologizes for failing as dark energy completely swallows him whole. Netahu is totally baffled. His target just vanished into thin air, and across the garage a portal closes behind Yan Yanggong, who is now guarding both guys. This killer is sweating bullets, unable to believe he could not even track that speed. Yan Yanggong's first order of business is to roast the tank for getting so beat up. Priorities, you know. This guy Dingfeng just gasps that he is alive thanks to Pondi's intervention. Netahu realizes this newcomer is his other target, basically a delivery service for death. Our boy just puts a finger to his lips, telling the assassin it is not his turn to talk. This killer is absolutely vibrating with rage at the sheer disrespect. Yan Yanggong orders Pondi to get Dingfeng to safety, promising to heal them both later. With a single step forward, he sends Crack's spiderwebbing across the floor, then casually stomps on Netahu's invisible wind blade, shattering it completely. Calling him arrogant, the assassin throws a punch with everything he has. But Yan Yanggong's own fist, crackling with dark power, meets it head-on. That punch connects with enough force to completely rearrange a face, sending Netahu spinning backward through the air like a ragdoll, and he slams into the far wall with a bone-shattering crash. Down on one knee, the killer is already looking worse for wear, coughing up blood and wondering what the hell just hit him. He racks his brain, realizing this kid is not on any of his professional lists, so the assassin decides it is time to stop playing around and get serious. But Yan Yanggong is already on him, closing the distance with a kick, and Netahu cannot believe how fast our boy is moving, which is apparently all part of his master plan. What a genius. Suddenly, glowing magic circles erupt from the floor right underfoot, blasting Yan Yanggong with beams of immobilizing energy. Netahu gloats from a distance, thinking he has got him pinned for good, even starting a lecture about how fights are about more than just power. His smug speech about being a seasoned veteran gets cut short by sudden panic, as a brilliant golden light just shatters the trap from the inside. Yan Yanggong stands there completely unfazed, wrapped in a shimmering shield, leaving the assassin absolutely floored, wondering if he is fighting a holy knight. Our boy just calls him a disappointment, saying his grandma hits harder. Ouch. Netahu's confidence completely evaporates, replaced by pure, uncut terror. Yan Yanggong calls him too weak to even bother killing, delivering a threat for his entire guild, and the assassin is just seething, completely lost for words. His hand literally shakes with rage as our boy just stands there. So Netahu finally snaps, screaming that he will not be looked down on. Unleashing his ultimate move, the bright blade initial slash. A storm of energy slashes tears through the parking garage, but Yan Yanggong's expression basically says you are asking for it. This whole light show just shatters harmlessly against his golden shield, kicking up a massive cloud of dust and debris from the impact. When the smoke clears, the floor is wrecked, but that is about it. He calmly informs the assassin his damage is still not enough to break through, which forces Netahu to pull out a nasty-looking red dagger as a last resort. Our boy's eyes immediately lock onto the new weapon, and with a desperate yell, the killer lunges forward for a stab. Yan Yanggong just holds up a hand, calling the whole attempt futile, as the dagger stops dead just inches from his chest. This was supposed to be his ace, a demon-slaying sword designed to be unstoppable against shields, to which Yan Yanggong gives a look that just screams, "Is that a fact?" The shield starts to crack, but so does the supposedly unbreakable dagger, leaving Netahu staring in horror as his trump card crumbles to dust in his hand. With his trump card shattered, Yan Yanggong just follows up with a kick to the face, sending the assassin blasting straight through the roof of the parking garage, and Netahu is just screaming, unable to believe there was a second shield. Now they are both plummeting through the open air, which is a bad spot to be in. So the killer starts begging, threatening him with the wrath of his guild, to which Yan Yanggong basically replies, and this sheer terror on this guy's face says it all. He has run out of options. A storm of crimson demonic energy swirls around our boy's fist, and he unleashes it all in one devastating final blow. This punch sends Netahu flying across the entire countryside, slamming him into a distant mountain with enough force to shatter the peak. All that is left is a massive explosion and a cloud of dust. While Pondi and Dingfeng just watch the smoke rise from miles away, Pondi is sweating bullets, realizing his master copied and improved his skills on the fly, but Dingfeng just chalks it up to a high-level player bullying a low-level one. His servant, however, is having the time of his life, grinning about the revival of demons. Back on the mountain, Yan Yanggong gets a system alert. Netahu is officially defeated. He even loots the guy's ashes, which can be used for demon conversion, because of course they can. This gives him a dark realization: killing other adventurers is way more efficient than grinding mobs. With a new, much darker leveling strategy in mind, he sets his sights on a level 3 dungeon. A new scene opens with a brutal sword slash. Some poor masked guy is about to have a very, very bad day. And by bad day, I mean getting sliced clean in half. Another adventurer bites the dust, netting the killer a cool 50 XP. This new psycho Zhu Yin is actually bored he killed the guy too fast, when his second brother shows up with some great sarcasm. This brother, Zhu Tong, asks why he is suddenly grinding in a dungeon, then mocks him for covering his victims' faces, asking if he gets nightmares. Zhu Yin explains it is not about fear, it is so he can focus on their eyes. Because watching the life fade gives him the ultimate thrill. What a charmer. He cuts the small talk, asking his brother what he actually wants. And Zhu Tong is here to deliver some fresh XP since he knows his hobby. He's got a level 5 adventure lined up, a much bigger prize. Their target's location is a quiet-looking apartment building, where Yan Yanggong is relaxing while Dingfeng gets a workout in. Dingfeng questions why our boy is not grinding, all while holding a 50 kg weight over his face. He has been cooped up for days, which is pretty out of character. But Yan Yanggong reveals his secret: he has outsourced the leveling to his minions. In a level 6 dungeon, his demon army is farming away, with Pondi happily overseeing the whole operation like a proud manager. Pondi's on his rock throne, playing middle manager and yelling at everyone to work harder. While the rest of the demon squad is down below doing all the actual grinding, a sharp-dressed demon calls him out for just sitting there barking orders, and the armored knight Argus immediately threatens the new guy for his sass. Pondi pulls the seniority card, claiming he is the top dog since he has been here the longest, which apparently offends the giant bug demon who charges the loudmouth. To settle this little workplace dispute, Pondi proposes a competition. A contest to see who can farm the most XP for their master. Right on cue, a horde of purple imps swarms in, ready for the slaughter. Pondi immediately unleashes a massive fire breath attack on the crowd, instantly racking up a huge stream of plus 15 XP notifications. This blast absolutely vaporizes the mob, leaving only charred skeletons behind, which then promptly crumble into nothing but dust, and he is pretty pleased with the power boost from his new form. But an imp manages to slip through the chaos and take a swing, while another one sneaks up from behind with a club. This suited demon just mocks him for being too busy stealing kills to watch his own back. As another imp leaps down, the rival points out those big attacks are a huge mana drain, before smugly revealing he is not the only one with Aya skills, and he fires a clean energy beam that slices an enemy in two. This rival's own Aya attack tears through the remaining imps. Unleashing his invisible blade, Grounded slash with a smug look, this vortex of slashes just shreds the entire mob instantly, and he gloats to Pondi, asking how his Aya compares to that fire breath. Not to be outdone, the armored knight Argus gets in on the action, sarcastically thanking the guy for grouping them up so nicely for him. This suited demon is absolutely losing it. Apparently there is an etiquette to kill stealing. Argus just calls down a massive pillar of holy fire from the sky, and his holy flash completely vaporizes the next wave of mobs. Meanwhile, Yan Yanggong is just taking a stroll as the XP floods his screen, pretty pleased that his minions are getting so competitive down there. A voice calls him over to a portal that has just opened in a nearby rock, and our boy turns to see who it is. Finding a level 5 dwarven warrior named Dov waiting for him, his new friend whispers that dwarves are greedy enough to wipe a party for a pebble. But Dov, who has excellent hearing, slams his hammer down in protest. He then clarifies that yes, greed is a strength, but loyalty is even better. This friend assures Yan Yanggong they are trustworthy guild acquaintances, so our boy agrees. But he points out they are 2 people short for the 5-person dungeon, and his friend just grins and tells him to look up. And up pops a giant, blushing woman from behind a boulder. Meet Eileen, a level 5 giant archer, and yeah, she is huge. She immediately gets shy and hides behind her personal-sized mountain, while his friend just laughs it off, saying she is actually pretty timid. Yan Yanggong then asks about their fifth and final member. When a new voice apologizes for being late, blaming traffic of all things, this whole group turns to see who is finally showing up, and it is none other than Zhu Yin, the psycho killer from before. He is internally monologuing about how these newbies underestimate him. Oh, the irony. This friend vouches for him, spinning a sob story about a recommendation, but Yan Yanggong's instincts are screaming that something is very wrong with this guy. Zhu Yin just gives off the creepiest, most untrustworthy vibe imaginable, as they all stand before the entrance to a level 6 enchanted forest. With the party assembled, they all head towards the portal. But a flashback takes us to 2 hours earlier back at the apartment, where Yan Yanggong was worried about another guild snagging the dungeon first. He told his friend to send the coordinates while he got a team ready, and we see that same friend leaving the apartment, only for the door to open into a creepy purple misted forest, not a hallway. He is met by the ambush party, realizing this was a setup all along. This traitor's buddy is already getting the creeps, but the traitor just tells him to suck it up. To calm his nerves, someone offers him a giant jawbreaker on a stick. It is from Eileen, who calls it her magical anti-anxiety lollipop because of course it is. This guy points out her candy is basically a blunt force weapon, which is a fair assessment. Yan Yanggong's eyes narrow, his danger sense is definitely tingling. He stops the group, realizing their dwarven companion Dov has vanished. Meanwhile, Dov is having a religious experience over some shiny rocks. He has found a massive cave of blue magic ore, already counting his future gold. Wasting no time, he immediately starts hacking away at the crystals. Deeper in, he spots even more loot, and the greed is absolutely palpable. This entire cavern is just glittering with treasure as far as the eye can see. He climbs up a ledge for a better view and spots the real prize, a giant glowing cluster of super rare yellow minerals. His face says it all, he has hit the absolute mother lode. Screaming that it is all his, he leaps down to claim his treasure like a madman. His pickaxe comes swinging down for the first glorious strike, but it just bounces off with a loud clang, not even scratching the surface. Suddenly, the ground beneath him starts glowing with a weird crackling energy. He's completely baffled, wondering what the hell he just hit. Back with the group, the traitor casually explains that dwarves just cannot resist a good mine. A sudden noise puts Yan Yanggong on high alert, while his nervous companion points up at the ridge. It is Dov, screaming his lungs out and running for dear life. He's being chased by a swarm of angry little rock golems, and the traitor just scoffs, mocking him for being scared of a few mobs. But Dov was not running from them, he was running from what was behind them. A level 7 rare boss emerges, a weeping wraith that towers over everyone. Suddenly, the traitor's crew is not looking so tough anymore. This traitor is actually pissed the dwarf brought a boss, ruining his ambush plans. He decides that maybe, just maybe, living is better than getting that XP. Right then, the cave entrance starts glowing with some seriously bad vibes, and a massive energy blast erupts from the mine. This explosion carves a huge crater, sending the party scrambling for cover. One of the traitors gets thrown right at the boss's feet, perfect timing. That giant wraith just opens its mouth, charging up a nasty-looking attack, unleashing a devastating beam of pure green energy. It is a massive area of effect blast washing over the entire battlefield, but just as it hits, Yan Yanggong plants his feet. The others are freaking out, realizing there is no way to dodge this thing. Our boy throws up a light shield, telling everyone to get behind him. Yan Yanggong's holy shield holds back the wraith's massive blast, protecting the whole party. But the corrosive energy just keeps hammering away at the barrier, and his defense starts to crack and sizzle under the strain, as the acid-like attack melts the very ground around them. With a final shatter, the shield completely gives way, and one of the traitor's buddies gets a face full of corrosive goo for his troubles. Yan Yanggong knows his shield is way too weak for a level 7 boss, leaving everyone vulnerable, so he immediately switches gears, activating a switch summon skill. Dark, swirling energy erupts from his hand, catching the traitor and Dov completely by surprise, and who pops out but Rark, the giant bug demon from the XP farming contest. Dov is absolutely losing his mind. A low-level adventurer summoning a demon is basically impossible. Without missing a beat, Yan Yanggong orders his minion to dig an escape tunnel, and Rark immediately slams into the earth, carving out a path. As the others scramble into the hole, they ask what his plan is. But he just waves them off, telling them to hurry while he holds the line. They start their descent, nervously hoping he is right behind them, until Eileen coldly explains he is not coming, he is staying behind to block the acid. This traitor just tells Dov it is fine, claiming our boy is about to level up, a very suspicious choice of words. Back on the surface, the weeping wraith looms over the now empty battlefield. This traitor watches from a safe distance, having bylaid on everyone else. And he is already patting himself on the back for running away, what a hero. Meanwhile, the weeping wraith charges up another ball of pure doom, its glowing green tears promising a very, very bad day for someone. This massive energy blast slams right into Yan Yanggong's last known position, but the traitor is absolutely stunned to see our boy just tanked it. His brain completely short-circuits, trying to figure out how that is even possible. Turns out Yan Yanggong just got a conveniently timed level up to level 6, which upgraded his flame shield into a persistent mana-draining flame armor. From his little coward's perch, the traitor just cannot believe his eyes, and he is having a full-blown meltdown over the impossible power-up. But a flashback to 5 minutes ago reveals the secret sauce, his minions, who have been hard at work in another dungeon entirely. They have been farming a massive pit of mobs just to funnel all the XP to their liege, and one of them even notes that Rark just got summoned away for a bit. Another is practically vibrating with excitement, hoping he is the next to get called up. Back in the present, Yan Yanggong looks up at the towering boss, ready for round 2, which is now preparing a good old-fashioned stomp attack. Its massive foot comes crashing down with enough force to shatter the ground. But our boy is already thinking strategy, noting big monsters have slow legs. He zips right under the stomp, using its own leg for cover, which sends the giant wraith tumbling backward, completely off balance, and it crashes to the ground with a world-shaking thud. With a flick of his wrist, Yan Yanggong summons a new weapon, a ridiculously oversized golden greatsword, because of course he does. He then launches himself into the air, ready to bring the pain. Coming down like a meteor right on the boss's face. This impact cracks its stone head wide open. That has gotta hurt. Dazed, the wraith just sits there, probably wondering what year it is, clutching its head while reeling from that holy beatdown. But Yan Yanggong is already winding up for another attack, spinning like a top. And this time, he is aiming straight for the eye socket. He unleashes a holy light flash at maximum output just to be sure, engulfing the entire area in a massive pillar of holy fire. From their coward's perch, the traders watch the boss get absolutely vaporized, and the main trader just smugly claims this is basic gameplay for our guy. What a liar. Standing in the aftermath, Yan Yanggong feels like something's not quite right, thinking the fight was almost *2* easy for a rare boss 1 level higher. Suddenly, green energy starts sizzling up from the ground around him. As the boss's remains dissolve into a swarm of glowing particles, those glowing particles start swirling together because of course the boss is not dead. Instead, it erupts in a massive wave of corrosive energy, catching Yan Yanggong right in the blast, his mana already screaming for help. This whole area just gets nuked with green death fog, and our boy gets blasted back, barely keeping his footing against the shockwave. His mana is practically on empty, meaning that fancy flame armor is about to fizzle out. Now the entire battlefield is shrouded in a thick, poisonous mist. From their safe spot, the trader explains this is just the boss's acid evaporating, a fun new battlefield feature. His buddy is, as usual, about to have a panic attack. This traitor realizes this is a second phase and wonders why Yan Yanggong is not just swarming it with minions. Inside the fog, Yan Yanggong is stalling for time, waiting for his minions to level up for him. He moves silently through the mist, hunting for that traitor. His eyes lock onto a spot, thinking he has found his target, so he immediately launches forward, charging up a fireball. This attack flies blindly into the fog, a fiery probe of destruction. It explodes in a flash of red, hoping to flush someone out. But a ghostly hand just swats it away, and Yan Yanggong realizes it is a decoy. This real boss materializes right behind him for a classic sneak attack. It grabs him by the face, trying to drain his armor, but our boy thinks it is making a big mistake. With a defiant roar, he smashes his fist into the ground, unleashing a counterattack of his own. This wraith's eyes flare with green light, clearly not done with this fight. So Yan Yanggong swings his massive golden sword to meet the challenge, parrying a shadowy claw from the boss's much faster second form. From the sidelines, the trader's buddy points out the acid fog has finally cleared. And look who it is, the other trader, yonking, waving like they are old pals. He claims Dov and Eileen went back for ore, a story so thin you could see right through it. Meanwhile, inside that very same cave, Dov is having the time of his life, greedily scooping up shiny blue crystals, practically cackling that he is about to be rich, a true master of finance. Just then, a foot crushes the very crystal he was reaching for, and it is Eileen towering over him with some serious "we need to talk" energy. She is terrified, asking him what the hell he is actually picking up, but Dov just looks confused, completely oblivious to the danger. Then the realization hits his face like a ton of bricks. Turns out this mine is actually a massive burial pit filled with skeletons. This dwarf absolutely loses it, screaming about the tomb of a greediest dwarven king. His bag of treasure spills open, revealing a pile of skulls and bones. He's left kneeling in a boneyard, his get-rich-quick scheme in absolute shambles. This poor guy finally understands he was charmed the second he walked in. Eileen just asks why she was not affected, and he has got nothing, absolutely no clue. Dov's brilliant theory is that he is short, so he got poisoned the most, a true scientific mind. Back on the surface, the trader's buddy offers to go fetch the others from the cave. But he is getting absolutely no response from Yonking, so he reaches out to get his attention, and his hand phases right through him. It is a damn illusion. A moment later, he looks down to see a hand bursting from his own chest, and his brain just completely short-circuits from the shock. He spots the real Yonking collapsed in the distance, totally confused, just lying there unconscious in a pile of rocks. This guy then notices his own arm has been sliced off, wondering who could have done it. But before he can solve that mystery, his head gets lopped clean off. And here is our culprit, a new demon lady looking pretty pleased with her work. This whole battlefield is just littered with unconscious or dead adventurers now, and she is very interested in Yan Yanggong's demonic aura, moving in to study our boy, which never means anything good. Suddenly, a massive warhammer comes flying right at her face, but she just casually swats it aside with one arm. This hammer completely shatters on impact, barely even slowing her down. And look who threw it, one of Yan Yanggong's minions finally joining the party. He looks down at the trader's body, probably thinking, well, that is one problem solved. He figures out the traders were just poisoned, fighting their own imaginary enemies. But he is still mad he could not get there in time to save them. This demon lady is just baffled. Why is not this dwarf still tripping on poison? Just then, a spear zips right past her head, slamming into the ground, thrown by another figure way in the back. She assumes it is that tall hunter who is apparently a master of stealth. Wrong again, it is the dwarf minion dropping in for a surprise party, and he brings his hammer down with everything he has got. only for her to stop it cold, mocking him for being 2 levels lower. Since he delivered himself to her, she is happy to end this now, and that is the face of pure, unfiltered regret right there. She unloads a torrent of green death magic at point-blank range, but at the same time another spear flies in from the distance, aimed low. She scoffs, thinking they are trying to ambush her again, except the dwarf was not down. He grabs her leg to hold her still. Her brain just completely short-circuits. How is this guy still moving? He snarls that she is not going anywhere, tanking the damage. Now she realizes she is completely stuck with no way to dodge, and the spear slams home right through her chest. Turns out he popped his racial skill, Stone Skin, just to buy enough time for the hit. So that Stone Skin skill is basically a 5-second I am invincible button with no mana cost. And the spear takes her head clean off, leaving the dwarf minion collapsed on the ground. But she is not down. She just grabs the spear, green energy flaring as she tries to yank it out. Her head completely reforms from smoke while she uses rapid corrosion to melt the weapon stuck in her chest. From the bushes, Eileen cannot believe it. The all-or-nothing attack did 0 damage. Dov is having a similar meltdown, screaming that she is completely unharmed. And she just smirks, mocking these low-level minions for even daring to fight her. Then she unleashes a massive wave of her own corrosive magic to end this. Eileen screams out for Dov, seeing the attack coming right for them. But the demon lady has already locked onto her hiding spot, charging up a nasty-looking poison beam with Eileen's name on it. This green laser of death zips right through the forest, and it blasts Eileen clear out of the trees, sending her flying. With the minions handled, she turns back to finally study Yan Yanggong. Except, where'd the dwarf go? There is just a blood stain on the ground. She then realizes Yan Yanggong is also gone from his spot. Following a suspicious trail of blood, she scans the empty battlefield, and the trail leads her right to a tree where someone is making a getaway. It is Yan Yanggong carrying his wounded minion on his back, a classic hero rescue. But she has already found them, warning that escape is not an option. She fires off another poison beam, dead set on finishing them off, and it slams right into Yan Yanggong's back as he shields his minion. But instead of screaming, his eyes are glowing. He is analyzing the attack. This whole area erupts in a geyser of corrosive green light, and she is already mourning the loss of a special adventurer. What a total waste. A hand then reaches out of the blast as our boy figures out how her skills work. Yan Yanggong is just standing there, completely fine, and oh look, he just leveled up again. This demon lady absolutely loses her mind, wondering where he is farming all this XP. Cut to another dungeon where one of his minions just took down a massive boss, who proudly reports the job is done, getting his liege to level 7. Back on the battlefield, Yan Yanggong explains there was never any resentment to begin with, because the whole dungeon has been pumping out a hallucinogenic poison gas. He then summons a new kind of flame, a swirling pink energy in his palm, revealing that his fire can now ignite the poison in the air, a skill he just unlocked. So as her next attack comes flying in, he is just watching it calmly, and the poison blast hits the ground and just combusts, turning the air into a minefield. She starts panicking for real, spamming poison bullets everywhere. But Yan Yanggong just weaves through the storm of green death like it is nothing, charging up a golden kick with some serious return to sender energy, and he punts her right into her own exploding poison cloud. Green energy just instantly stitches her wound back together, and Yan Yanggong is floored. She's got self-healing magic, but she is absolutely livid. This will leave a scar, ruining her bikini season. Our boy responds by cooking up a swirling ball of dark red energy, slamming it right into her poison blast in a massive explosion. She mocks him, saying his flames just turn her poison into a deadlier gas, but Yan Yanggong just gives her a cool, is that so? Then he shoves his ignition of time flame right in her face, and that is the look of someone who just made a huge mistake. This whole battlefield just erupts in a blinding pink inferno. When the smoke clears, Yan Yanggong is the only one left standing, casually collecting another 400 experience points for the win. Down in the crater, the demon lady is looking pretty worse for wear, thinking she has successfully faked him out with the same trick again. Her brilliant plan is to retreat and then hunt down his friends, a real class act. Suddenly, a blue laser zips past her face, interrupting her villain monologue. Followed by an ambush from above, she thinks there is a 6th person. Then a hand grabs her from behind and she realizes there is a 7th attacker, revealing one of his massive demonic minions has her in its grip. She's completely losing her mind, screaming about where all these people are coming from. Another one of his minions drops in with a massive crimson slash, sending the demon lady flying across the battlefield, and she cannot believe it. There is an 8th one now, which turns out to be a giant monster ready to swallow her whole. Meanwhile, in a completely different dungeon, one of his minions is just wailing on a bug monster, landing a solid demonic right hook to its face, because the idiot bug just swallowed the boss they were supposed to capture. After some forceful encouragement, the bug monster starts to heave, and Yan Yanggong confirms the boss is in fact still alive in there. His other minions are just completely losing their minds over this screw-up. But they all snap to attention when their liege arrives on the scene. This boss gets spat out, a demon lady who'd rather die than serve a human. So Yan Yanggong just holds a sword to her and says, "Fine, die then." She is all ready for a noble end, staring down the blade, until a golden light envelops her and she looks very confused. His other minions just welcome the new trash to the team. What a great work environment. And just like that, she has been converted, looking up at her new master, now kneeling obediently at Yan Yanggong's feet. This all nets him a level up, unlocking a demonic nightmare form and new poison skills for his minions, plus a bunch of loot including a tier of venom orb for crafting. One of his minions is just vibing, loving the shared power-up from his liege, And just then, Eileen comes running back, carrying the nearly dead dwarf minion. She is in a total panic. Both of her friends are in critical condition. So Yan Yanggong shows up to the triage, telling her he will take over the healing. But one of his demonic knights steps in, insisting a subordinate can handle it, unleashing a massive wave of golden healing energy across the area, which patches the guys up, though they are just shy of a level up for a full recovery. Someone then points out that the boss's stone minions have mysteriously vanished. This newly converted demon lady sees her chance, offering to lead him to secret treasure. And another minion is already seething, calling her a cunning succub. The office drama starts early. Back with the patients, the healing magic is slowly knitting them back together. And Yan Yanggong notes their lives are saved, but they will need a proper priest to regrow limbs. He tells Eileen to get them out of the dungeon, promising to cover all the costs. For extra security, he sends his newest demon minion along as a bodyguard. This rest of the crew gets recalled to his demon space, leaving one very eager demon on escort duty. Our boy realizes the other adventurer bylaid, but is not worried with a level 7 demon protecting his friends. So Eileen heads out, carrying the dwarf with her demonic escort in tow, and the demon asks why she covered the dwarf, making Eileen blush about his dissolved armor. Her bodyguard is completely baffled, arguing teammates are just tools, naked or not. While they are gone, another minion gets to work opening a treasure chest with his fist. Suddenly, a new challenger appears, rocking some seriously evil eyes, while one of Yan Yanggong's minions smashes the treasure chest open, only to get his fist snagged by a magical chain trap, and the whole floor erupts, binding him completely. He is ambushed by another adventurer who wonders if he is a fellow trap specialist. This minion Netta, who is now strung up like a demonic piñata as his partner watches from below. She yells that she is coming to cut him down, a classic hero move, but Netta, who screams for her to watch her back, it is a trap. Too late, a shadowy presence with glowing red eyes is right behind her, and we meet the culprit, a guy with a smile that screams, "I have no dental plan." This chains constrict around Netta, who squeezing the life out of him. As he struggles against the energized trap, sparks flying everywhere. Down below, the red-haired adventurer is now face to face with the creep. He just grins, saying he was hoping they'd show up for his little party. Meanwhile, back with Yan Yanggong, the chest is open, revealing a hoard of shiny crystals. His new demon minion is just gushing over his incredible luck, calling it a rare find. But Yan Yanggong is not celebrating. He senses something is very wrong. This new girl tries to cheer him up, promising better loot ahead, really laying on the suck-up routine. He cuts her off, revealing Netta, who and the others are under attack, and giving her new orders. As she stands there, a little slime minion pops up at her feet. Back with the ambush, the red-haired minion is down and bleeding out. Her partner is now stuck in a pit of black tar, facing the new villain. This demonic minion struggles against the sticky trap, realizing they were ambushed from the start. This hunter, Zhu Yin, gloats from above, explaining his magic-reinforced tar is inescapable. He is a level 7 adventure hunter, already planning to kill them and then their master for the XP. This minion is absolutely livid at the disrespect, but the hunter just scoffs, thinking they are faking their rank. Our new villain gives a whole lecture on how levels work, smugly certain he cannot be fooled. Then a massive demonic presence looms behind him, asking what level it asterisk looks like. And the minion is just as shocked, realizing this guy is asterisk actually asterisk level 7. Zhu Yin explains he was already level 6 before this and he got more than just the boss's XP. With a truly punchable grin, he asks where they think all the dungeon's other monsters went. Turns out he lured all the stone minions away and killed them himself, hogging all the experience. This trapped minion finally gets it, then asks if their liege heard the confession. Zhu Yin just mocks him, promising to deliver his last words as he moves in for the kill. Suddenly, a swirling red energy connects the minion to someone far away, and Yan Yanggong appears in a flash of red, confirming he heard everything. This hunter absolutely loses it, a skill that can reverse summon the master. Now it is the minion's turn, lunging forward to punish the disrespect. But the hunter has another trick up his sleeve, slapping the ground to activate a new trap. A massive stone pillar erupts from the floor, ready to crush the charging minion. This minion stops dead as the hunter slaps the ground, activating yet another trap. But he just backflips clean over the massive stone spike that erupts from the floor, only for it to come crashing down right on top of Yan Yanggong, slamming him into a pit and sealing him inside a stone prison. This thing is literally a coffin called Trap. Lover's embrace, so subtle. This hunter starts his villain monologue, admitting he did not expect the reverse summon but was ready anyway, claiming this special coffin was designed just for our boy. And right on cue, the inside of the trap erupts with a forest of deadly spikes. He's just waiting for the XP pop-up, getting a little concerned his target is still alive in there, when a sinister red energy starts pulsing from inside the coffin. And the entire trap gets blown to smithereens in a massive explosion. From the smoke, a massive molten demonic hand emerges from the crater, and the minion asks if the guy's dead, confirming he summoned his liege out just in time. But Yan Yanggong gets no XP notification. The hunter he just vaporized was a decoy. Way off in the distance, the real Zhu Yin is already making a break for it. He is hiding in a disguised trap, confident he can escape since the whole exit is rigged. Too bad for him, one of Yan Yanggong's demonic hounds is already sniffing out his trail. And that is the face of a man whose brilliant escape plan just fell apart. He desperately tries to shush the demonic beast, a truly galaxy brain move. But the hound just looms over him, mockingly asking if this is where he is hiding. This demonic hound unleashes a massive crimson beam right at him, completely obliterating the ground where he was cowering. sending the hunter flying as his perfect escape plan goes up in smoke. He is still monologuing, annoyed he wasted a decoy on the fatty, until some sinister tendrils grab him right out of the air. Then a massive crystalline spear erupts from below, and it is covered in that same inescapable tar he was so proud of. This whole area just explodes with more spikes, turning his own escape route into a deadly maze. Zhu Yin cannot believe it. The hound just triggered all his traps with one Aya blast. His face says it all, no more traps, no more plans, just pure panic. But as he turns to flee, a voice tells him it is a little too late for that, because the new demon lady is here, glowing with that fresh poison power-up. She unleashes a massive wave of toxic energy right at him, completely engulfing the hunter in a poison nova. Yan Yanggong gets the XP notification, asking if this kill is actually real this time. His new minion swears she would not dare trick him, she is fully reformed to evil now. Now he says it is time to settle the score with that guy, who turns out to be Zhu Yin himself, now a freshly converted level 7 demon, and the other minions are already hazing the new guy, telling him to call them big bro, welcome to the team. With his new demon squad assembled, Yan Yanggong gets down to business. His first order sending a minion to play bodyguard for Eileen's crew, then go undercover. While 3 others are assigned to a pure XP grind, no treasure, just levels. And now for the new guy, the hunter he just converted, who looks like he is about to get his first and possibly last performance review. He orders him and Netahu to fake their deaths and return to their guilds as spies, and Zhu Yin is already gushing, calling the plan brilliant. The suck-up is strong with this one. Meanwhile, a different party is getting absolutely stomped by a giant mammoth boss. And from a nearby cliff, a lone observer watches the chaos unfold, who turns out to be a level 10 lizardman guild leader named Zhu Zai. Down below, the mammoth's foot is about to turn an adventurer into a pancake, but her tank steps in, shield ready, screaming for a heal, so the priest tells him to pop his ultimate defense skill while she preps a spell. He unleashes his unyielding shield, a massive wall of blue energy, bragging he can hold for 10 seconds easy since this once held a boss for a full minute. And the mammoth's tusk shatters his unyielding shield in about half a second, sending the warrior flying as his big talk completely evaporates, while the boss's attack carves a massive crater into the battlefield, leaving his teammates staring in horror. That was their best defensive move. And the entire party panics, realizing they are completely, utterly doomed. This mammoth boss finally notices the clifftop spectator, and it is not happy, but a party member points, screaming that the Zhu Scorpion guild leader is here to save them. And there he is, Zhu Zai, striking a pose like he is auditioning for a superhero movie, while the doomed adventurers are practically weeping with joy, thinking their bacon is saved. With a dramatic leap, he dives straight into the fray, landing with a haymaker right to the mammoth's face. This guy literally announces his super gravity fist midair, zero subtlety, and the blow sends the massive boss stumbling back, completely rocked. He follows up with a barrage of energy spikes, just tearing into it, and its back just explodes under the sheer force of the assault. This party below can only stare, muttering about how insanely powerful he is, so one of them wisely asks if they are about to get caught in the collateral damage. Her buddy tells her not to worry, they are a safe distance away, famous last words. He immediately gets disintegrated by the shockwave, proving his theory very, very wrong, leaving his partner to scream as the wave of destruction heads right for her. Now she and the last survivor are running from the expanding blast zone, but the ground swallows one of them whole as they scream for help, and in the next instant the rest of the party is just gone, vaporized. All that is left is a massive smoking crater where the battlefield used to be, with a single piece of debris flying through the air, the only thing left of the entire guild. Zhu Zai casually steps on the last bit of guild debris, and his subordinate Zhu Yin walks through the wasteland he created, thinking his boss is even more ruthless than he is, which is saying something. This lizard man himself appears, threatening to turn him into paste for being there. So Zhu Yin immediately starts spinning a PR story for the massacre, but the guild leader cuts him off, demanding the real reason he is here. This spy proudly announces he has handled some old case for him, but Zhu Zai could not care less, telling him to report it to someone else. As he leaves, Zhu Yin mutters about him meeting the angel again, and that gets the lizard's immediate, undivided attention. A split second later, Zhu Yin gets absolutely decked for his gossip, with his boss promising to turn him into mincemeat for running his mouth. With that friendly reminder, Zhu Zai is gone, leaving the guy in a crater. Zhu Yin, still just level 7, seethes, hoping his real liege levels up fast. Meanwhile, at the Angel Temple, Zhu Zai arrives for a meeting, kneeling before a knight in angelic armor, reporting a kill and asking for a reward. This Lord Angel is unimpressed, asking if a whole territory of bosses was not enough. So Zhu Zai explains that after level 10, XP gains from weak mobs just stop. He's basically begging for a dungeon key, citing all the dirty work he has done over the years, and his groveling is met with pure, unadulterated rage. This angel brings down a massive energy blade for that little bit of disrespect, but a voice booms enough. As the temple doors slam shut, this sword stops inches from Zhu Zai's head, who is absolutely terrified. This angel then lectures him about how he saved his entire clan from extinction. So Zhu Zai can only bow, a fresh crater marking his near-death experience. He walks away, seething with pure humiliation. This crack from that one sword swing has carved a path right out of the temple, stretching all the way into the wasteland. Talk about a performance review. Knowing he is outmatched, Zhu Zai decides to hit the black market for a key instead. Elsewhere, Yan Yanggong finds a shady portal opening in an underpass, and he stands before the crackling entrance to who knows where. A masked dude pops out asking if he is asterisk also asterisk here for a key. This guy tells him to cut the chatter and just follow him inside. Turns out Zhu Yin vouched for him, granting access to a massive underground market. His guide lays down the law: no fighting or a high-level mage will end you. Yan Yanggong is impressed. They hid the whole operation in a dungeon to avoid the angels. This is the spot for rare loot, and the guide knows he is here for a dungeon key, so our boy pulls out a little something to grease the wheels, casually offering a solid gold bar as a tip. He gets real friendly, calling it a token of appreciation, already working the system. This guide is now his biggest fan, calling him a savvy newcomer for that tip. And just like that, Yan Yanggong gets the VIP treatment, no waiting in line for him, as they walk right past a massive queue of adventurers all waiting for access. Apparently everyone's here for keys, so the guide offers some pro tips. Breaking down the system, dungeon keys are strictly a level 10 and up problem. First tier is normal, the no key required starter pack with pathetic slimes. While advanced dungeons need a key for slightly better loot and angrier fish dudes. Then epic dungeons are where the real XP grind begins with a level 30 cap, and at the top, legendary dungeons are where even high-level players get wiped out. Yan Yanggong immediately starts looking for loopholes, asking if the key upgrades past 40, and our boy puts it together: if keys upgrade, there is no real level cap. This guide points out the problem: a level 41 key is useless since no such dungeon exists yet. Yan Yanggong's face says it all: what a completely pointless system. But wait, he asks, what about that 5th tier you mentioned? That would be hell tier, and the guide's advice is simple: do not go, no one ever returns. An announcer kicks things off, addressing the huge crowd gathered in the auction hall, where a slick-looking guy in a suit announces the dungeon key auction is officially underway. First item on the block, a level 10 advanced key with a starting bid of 50,000, and some guy in the crowd immediately opens the bidding. But someone else instantly counters with a bid of 70,000, this is gonna get expensive. A new bidder enters the fray, a woman who casually throws down 80,000, and some guy in the crowd immediately clocks her as an unfamiliar face, probably because of the ominous red energy swirling around her heels, which she uses to grab the dude who was just bidding against her, shoving him back into the crowd like he is nothing. He immediately tells his buddy he is out since the key's not worth the profit margin, and his friend just roasts him for being a level 7 trying to play in the big leagues. This key ends up selling for 120,000 to some other guy who is now the center of attention, as a swarm of adventurers immediately try to recruit him, already arguing over loot. With that settled, the auctioneer moves on to the next batch of advanced keys. And the old-timer running the show looks ready to make some serious cash. After the low-tier stuff is gone, he announces the main event of the auction, revealing a level 10 asterisk epic asterisk dungeon key with a starting bid of 200,000. This crowd starts buzzing. The price is insane, but the potential rewards are even bigger, though someone brings up that a high-level team recently got wiped trying to clear one. And then a hand shoots up, shutting everyone down with a bid of 500,000. Of course, it is Zhu Zai, the lizard man guild leader, looking like he owns the place. This guide tells Yan Yanggong that you need that level of power just to survive an epic run, which flashes us back to hours earlier when Zhu Yin told him the guild leader would be here, confirming that Zhu Zai is so arrogant he would not even recognize his own people. Yan Yanggong connects the dots on Zhu Zai's sudden desperation to level up. And his guide confirms the lizard got his ego stomped at the Angel Temple recently. Back at the auction, Zhu Zai throws down 600,000, daring anyone to cross him, but his confidence shatters the second someone actually does. A mysterious woman with white hair who looks way too pleased with herself. She casually drops a cool million and the entire room just loses its mind. Even Yan Yanggong thinks the price is getting a little ridiculous. And the guide agrees it is a terrible return on investment for a level 10 key. There is a however hanging in the air though. A sinister smile spreads across our boy's face. He has figured out the angle. He stands up, ready to make a power play of his own, immediately jumping the bid to 1.5 million, which just enrages Zhu Zai. This lizard man finally recognizes his rival, screaming that it is her again, and she just gives him a flirty little wink, absolutely loving the chaos. So he fires back with a bid of 2 million, only for her to instantly raise him to 2.1 million without even blinking. This bids just fly back and forth, climbing into the millions in seconds. Zhu Zai is absolutely fuming, accusing her of just trying to mess with him. He finally snaps, throwing down a massive 5 million bid to shut her up for good, and the crowd eats it up, praising the strongest level 10 for being such a big spender. Zhu Zai dares her to keep going, smugly promising to fold if she does, a classic rich guy bluff. So she immediately calls it, telling him to pull out, and his entire brain just short circuits. This lizard is doing some serious mental math, trying to process how he just got so thoroughly owned. And then it finally hits him, he was just played for an idiot. He starts absolutely raging, demanding to know where she went so he can kill her for the disrespect, vowing to murder her and everyone she knows, which is a totally normal reaction to losing a bidding war. Meanwhile, Yan Yanggong and his guide head for the exit, the trip seemingly a bust, and the guide apologizes, admitting he never saw that interruption coming. But Yan Yanggong plays it cool, saying outbidding the Lizard King was always a long shot. So his new bestie waves goodbye, promising to hit him up for the next big sale. The second the guide is gone, a sinister red portal swirls open at our boy's feet, and out steps the white-haired woman as Yan Yanggong congratulates her on playing Zhu Zai like a fiddle. She just wishes they'd actually got his money out of the whole scheme. But a voice cuts in, asking who said that, and she completely freezes. It is the auctioneer, who apparently has super hearing and a flair for dramatic entrances. She immediately threatens to silence him for eavesdropping on their little conspiracy, her eyes flaring with some serious killing intent. But his own eye glows with a power that shuts her right down. He reveals he knows she is a demon enslaved by the Liege and she can only confirm it, stunned. Yan Yanggong explains he knew the auctioneer was a demon all along and this was all part of his plan. This auctioneer hands over the spoils from their little scam, a cool 4 million after fees. And Yan Yanggong pockets the card, calling it the startup fund for Phase 2. But his demon partner points out they still do not actually have a key. Right on cue, a payment of 500,000 hits his account, which he immediately uses to buy a key from a grateful assassin who calls him Big Boss, and he dangles their new prize, explaining he got it way cheaper than the auction price. Apparently, the seller was the sole survivor of a team wipe and just wanted to offload it. A conversation that has been secretly overheard by Zhu Zai in his tiny lizard spy form. His subordinate reports that the key is for a 5-person dungeon with 3 slots still open. So Zhu Zai immediately grabs 2 of his armored goons to crash the party. One of the chosen knights is absolutely sweating, convinced he is about to die for his boss's ego. But as Zhu Zai tries to enter, a purple barrier slams him back, request denied. This lizard king is completely baffled, screaming about how it can be full with only 2 people inside, while his 2 minions are on their knees thanking every god in existence for their survival. Utterly defeated, Zhu Zai decides to go to his own dungeon and deal with his humiliation later. And back with our crew, Yan Yanggong thanks his demonic underlings for their hard work. Now revealed as a level 10 demon lord, he promises to power level them all. As one of them confirms his disguise skill works perfectly, even hiding his level. With the mission a success, he cracks his knuckles, ready to announce a reward. He has unlocked a new skill, letting his subordinates raise their own armies from the dead. His demonic underlings are absolutely losing their minds over this new skill, but one of them immediately notices someone's missing. Where's Pondy? Turns out the little guy just bolted ahead to start farming kills all by himself. And he has got the right idea because the rules have changed. It is every demon for himself now. So the rest of the squad scrambles to catch up, not wanting to get left behind. Meanwhile, Yan Yanggong gets a status report on the outside world, and it seems Zhu Zai has retreated to his own dungeon to lick his wounds, so his spy is using a new stealth skill to camp the entrance, waiting for them to pop out. Back in the dungeon, one of his demons spots the first batch of enemies. And it is a whole mining operation run by some very industrious rat-faced dudes. Yep, level 10 rat-head miners, and they do not look happy about the interruption. One of them immediately points out the intruder, sounding the alarm, and the entire workforce just drops what they are doing to swarm the little guy, who seems completely unfazed, basically asking if they are here to die. But then this weird green energy starts swirling around him, which promptly explodes in a massive flash, blasting through the entire mine shaft, leaving him encased in some kind of protective green barrier. And he is not happy, realizing one of his allies just tried to nuke him, immediately going after the culprit and calling him out for being stingy with his own defenses. One of the demons immediately calls out the friendly fire, they have been sniped, and the culprit is another one of their own, just blasting away without a care. Who, when called shameless, just scoffs that honor was never part of the demon job description. With that settled, he rallies the rest of the squad to charge forward into the fray. Meanwhile, Yan Yanggong is just raking in the passive exp, loving every second of this. In Zhu Zai's dungeon, however, the vibe is less power leveling and more pest control, as his armored knight is completely gassed after taking down a single giant roach, while another one is already down, getting called trash by his own fearless leader. And Zhu Zai is in full-on manager mode, complaining his team is useless without his glorious presence. After that rousing pep talk, he tells everyone to get ready for the boss room. Their final boss is a massive, 3-eyed rat-head king who apparently runs this whole operation. Back with our boy, the boss is already dead and his minions are leveling up. And Yan Yanggong hits level 11, realizing he can literally just lie down and gain XP the dream. He even dismisses the dead boss as too weak to be interesting. Right as a black vortex starts to form on the corpse, which opens into a shiny new portal for a level 11 epic dungeon. He orders his crew to clean up the loot for selling later, all business, before strolling toward the portal, ready for the next one. His demons are already inside, absolutely tearing into some new chained-up beastie. And the level-up notifications just keep rolling in as his army steamrolls the place. His new necromancy skill is already paying off, letting his minions level up. And now at level 19, Yan Yanggong mocks how easy this is, basically daring the universe to prove him wrong. Meanwhile, in another dungeon, Zhu Zai's crew is having a slightly different experience, namely getting their heads caved in. Their party gets absolutely demolished by a level 14 Minotaur boss. So Zhu Zai has to step in himself, launching a furious attack, and he lands a massive punch right to the Minotaur's face, which completely obliterates the boss and shatters the ground around them. But he is still furious, screaming at his 2 remaining minions for being useless, and this lizard king just keeps ranting about their incompetence, a real motivational speaker. One of the survivors tries to warn him about something behind him, though. But Zhu Zai just turns around, completely annoyed by the interruption. Right as a sinister purple portal rips open in the air, out steps a way bigger, way stronger level 22 Minotaur boss. His knight absolutely panics since monsters are not supposed to be able to use portals. Zhu Zai, ever the egoist, just prepares to throw down again, unleashing some kind of powerful crushing attack on the new boss. This impact creates a massive shockwave, a huge display of power. But he is shocked that even with level suppression, the monster seems fine, and the Lizard King slowly realizes he might be in over his head. This smoke clears to reveal the Minotaur, completely unfazed and ready to murder him. Meanwhile, a purple portal opens near a random toll booth in the woods, where some poor schmuck is collecting a dungeon fee, a job with great benefits, I am sure. A pair of fresh kicks steps out of the portal, followed by a new guy who looks way too calm for this universe. But the taxman immediately stops him, hand out, telling him to wait a second, because apparently you have to pay a dungeon tax to this random dude. Our new hero is not impressed, asking which guild is running this little shakedown. This collector proudly announces he is with the Zhu Scorpion Guild, bragging his boss is inside getting stronger. So the hoodie guy just asks what happens if he does not feel like paying. And the goon threatens that his boss will come out and turn him into a pebble, which is a new one. This new guy just points up, casually asking, "Oh, you mean that guy?" And the collector looks up to see his boss getting launched out of the dungeon like a cannonball. This whole forest shakes from the sheer force of the exit, as the level 22 Minotaur boss comes crashing out right behind him, soaring through the air like a very angry, very muscular missile. It lands with enough force to absolutely shatter the landscape, leaving the little tax collector completely speechless at the sight. He starts panicking, screaming that a boss escaped and they are all dead, while a system-wide alert warns everyone in the area to evacuate immediately. This Minotaur then looks down at its handiwork, a thoroughly beaten and bloodied Zhu Zai. This Minotaur brings its hoof down, absolutely crushing Zhu Zai into the dirt. And for good measure, it rips a giant boulder out of the ground to finish the job, while our Lizard King can only stare up, too injured to even move an inch. With a massive boom, the boulder smashes down, seemingly obliterating him. But from a nearby cliff, a new spear-wielding mage unleashes a powerful spell, and she is a gold-ranked adventurer looking way too composed for this chaos. Her subordinate is already gushing, amazed she hit the target from such a distance. But she is completely baffled, realizing she had not even finished her chant yet, because down in the crater our hoodie guy is just standing there, totally fine. And a very confused Zhu Zai, now safely on the sidelines, wonders if a high-level mage just arrived. This smoke clears, and of course it is our boy Yan Yanggong making his grand entrance. Zhu Zai's face is just a perfect mask of pure, unadulterated shock. As one of his own spies, still undercover, points out that Guild Master Zhu Yin looks a bit ragged, this Lizard King asks if he was the one who saved him, and Yan Yanggong basically says, "Yeah, but you were not the point." This just shatters Zhu Zai's ego. He cannot see the guy's level and is losing his mind over how he got so strong. So he immediately starts coping, insisting it is a disguise skill and the save was pure luck. Yes, that has got to be it, he tells himself, clinging to his fragile worldview for dear life. Yan Yanggong meanwhile just looks down at him, completely unimpressed by this internal meltdown, right as the Minotaur decides it is done waiting and throws a punch the size of a small car, which connects with an absolutely earth-shattering boom. This Minotaur roars, completely unaware it is being targeted, and a split second later a projectile smacks it right in the chest, making it glare towards the mountains, having found the shooter. Turns out it is some level 20 hunter with a fancy trap-boosting gear set, and the Minotaur, not one for long-range pleasantries, just prepares to leap off the cliff, launching itself with enough force to shatter the entire rock face. Our new hunter friend calmly fires off a net shot to intercept the angry beefcake, sending a glowing energy net hurtling through the air, which perfectly ensnares the boss mid-flight. With its momentum gone, the trapped beast starts plummeting back to Earth, crashing into a nearby mountain like a giant hairy meteor. Meanwhile, one of Yan Yanggong's demons asks if they can use their upgraded demon form, which gives a massive attack boost but also makes them take more damage, a real glass cannon setup. But Yan Yanggong shuts it down, saying there are too many witnesses for him to go full-on demon lord just yet. His spy immediately suggests a simple solution: just kill all the witnesses, problem solved. Before Yan Yanggong can even respond, the ground starts to violently erupt, as the Minotaur finds itself caught in the hunter's ground trap, getting launched into the air by a series of massive spikes, which just keep bursting from the earth around it, leaving the boss completely impaled and roaring in agony. This hunter notes his spike trap barely did any real damage, which makes a lot more sense when the boss is revealed to be level 24. Up on the ridge, the gold-ranked mage's insight skill cuts through the disguise, and her subordinate points out that a 4-level gap is basically a death sentence. He says that while she is a genius, this hunter has no hope of pulling off a similar feat, but she just smirks, clearly not convinced the fight's over yet. Down below, the hunter is already on the move, baiting the boss along the cliff face. Before he leaps over another one of his preset explosive traps, it detonates with a massive fiery blast right as the Minotaur steps on it, engulfing the entire area in a huge explosion. A pretty impressive boom for a little floor mat, but a flaming fist just punches straight through the smoke, completely unbothered. As the Minotaur emerges, now literally glowing with rage, this mage's sidekick scoffs that this kiting strategy is far too naive. Right as the boss officially enters its berserk mode, great timing dude. Now supercharged, the beast starts sprinting along the mountain, and the hunter realizes his target just got a whole lot faster, so he throws down his next trick, a black tar trap, which erupts from the ground in sticky tendrils to grab the charging boss. But it is already resisting, fighting to break free from the magical sludge. This hunter just keeps firing, not giving the boss a second to breathe. But the arrows are just bouncing off the Minotaur's hide like toothpicks, and the mage's sidekick is quick to point out how useless those attacks are, but his boss just smirks knowing there is more to this than meets the eye. Turns out each arrow is carrying a mini trap, a trap shot, and now the boss is covered in these little glowing landmines, which all detonate at once in a massive chain reaction, making the sidekick eat his words as he sees the effective damage. His boss, however, knows it is still not nearly enough to win, and the hunter watches the smoke clear, waiting for the inevitable, telling his unseen ally to stay alert because this fight is far from over. Right on cue, a massive shadow falls over him from above, as the Minotaur comes crashing down like an artillery shell, sending the hunter flying back from the sheer force of the impact. He lands right in another one of his own traps, a giant net, which was clearly meant for the boss, not for him. Great planning, dude. Now stuck, he finally swallows his pride and asks the mage for help, and a completely different woman appears, mocking him for finally asking. She then unleashes a toxic miasma spell, telling him to hold his breath, and the hunter just snarks back from inside the poison cloud, completely unfazed. This Minotaur is just standing there, absolutely fuming inside the toxic cloud, and it tries to just swat the poison away like it is a minor inconvenience, before unleashing a massive shockwave to blow the entire miasma back, which clears the air in a huge radius around it. Up on the cliff, the mage's sidekick is still just staring, amazed by the sudden fog, but the poison has already started to work, covering the boss in nasty black boils, and that is the cue for the hunter's partner to trigger her exploding gas bomb, turning that entire poison cloud into a massive, fiery inferno.